Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the Orns observation on the sacking of Slaven Bilic. Watford FC today sacked Slaven Bilic after almost 6 months as the Watford head coach. His record in 25 championship games, 10 wins, 7 draws, 8 defeats. A total in that time of 37 points. 37 points in 25 championship games. Now, maybe that's not a very impressive total. He won more than he lost. 10 clean sheets. A couple of games Watford should have won in the last few, blowing a 2-0 lead at Reading, throwing that away, and throwing away the 1-0 lead they had against Burnley before that late goal came. Slaven Bilic did not do a terrible job with Watford at all. He was actually a decent manager here. Yes, you could question his substitution patterns sometimes. Perhaps you could question the decision to leave Asprilla off the squad for a number of weeks. That still is one that's a head scratcher for me. And maybe sometimes you could think about the fact that there was some things sometimes tactically in these games late on that just didn't work. But generally speaking, Slaven Bilic, I thought, was a decent fit. I thought he was doing a lot of the things right. So then, why on earth does Watford get rid of him? Well, it's obviously clear that the record, the last 16 or 17 championship games was not very good. Only 5 wins in those 17 championship games. But when you think about the fact that this team had got rid of Rob Edwards after just 10 championship games, why on earth was it even necessary to bring in Slaven Bilic in the first place? You should never have sacked Rob Edwards. We all understand that. And the reason why many Watford fans tonight are vindicated is that now you've brought in Chris Wilder, who plays the exact same system that Rob Edwards does. Chris Wilder is a more experienced edition of Rob Edwards, having also done very well with some of the clubs he'd been at previously. Sheffield United is one example, got them into the Premier League, got them to 9th position in the Premier League in their first season in the Premier League under Wilder. Yeah, Wilder had some rough spots, ended up having to leave Sheffield United. Sure, he didn't do that well at Middlesbrough. But Chris Wilder's a good head coach. We know he's a good manager. That's not the issue here. The issue is the judgment of the owner of Watford Football Club. And the issue here is the plan that he has, which seems like a 5-minute plan, a non-existent plan, a flying by the seat of your trousers plan. There clearly is no plan in football for this owner. The number one thing that an owner has to worry about is keeping the club financially solvent. Every football club owner, that's their priority. Bring in revenue for the club, keep the club financially stable and economically viable. Watford's financial condition, we all know, has been very tricky at the very least. And Watford's decisions on personnel and management have been also very dubious at times. But there's no question in my mind that this owner does not have a plan for this team. And if he does, he needs to communicate it to the fans. Granted, Gino Pozzo does not speak to the fans. He's not one to speak to the fans. There are some ventriloquists who will do that on behalf of Gino Pozzo. But once, just once, beyond any program notes that Gino may or may not have composed, beyond any other spokesperson speaking for Gino, just once, we'd like to hear from the owner himself, verbally. What is the plan for Watford Football Club? Does this owner have a plan beyond these final 11 games of the season? That's what I'd like to know. You should have kept Rob Edwards from the start. You should have been willing to do that. We were told in the Watford Observer during the course of the summer, Andrew French had reported this. They did interviews with, of course, Scott Duxbury, and we know what Scott Duxbury said about Rob Edwards. We were told that the owner had changed his ways, that he was not going to be so quick and snappy to make these managerial decisions and these changes in manager. That's what we were told last summer. But that proved to be a bunch of hogwash, a bunch of lies. Because what you've done is you've burned through 2 more managers that you didn't have to. You burned through managers last season. And the only plan that this owner has is a consistent plan of sacking managers before they've even had the time to really build something at this club. And that kind of toxic gunboat switching up of managers filters through to the players. It sends a strong message, a strong negative message to the players that don't worry, your place is safe here. No matter what you do, short of sulk when you get taken off against Rotherham for Kuhnbio, short of being utter failure when you've come here, Raymond I. No matter what, beyond those 2 things, your position is safe at Watford. You don't have to run down every ball. You don't have to jump for a second ball, Ismail Assar. You don't have to snap into a tackle, Ismail Assar. Just turn up on the pitch. Bring effort or don't bring effort. You'll keep playing. I'll make sure, as the owner of this club, that you get to play. You'll never get benched, even though you should be benched, even though you should be coming off the bench, even though you should be a substitute on the bench. I'll make sure that you play. I'll make sure that you start. Don't mind him. Don't matter about him. I'm the owner of this club, and I'm going to make sure that you play every game. I'll make sure you start every game. What you have at Watford Football Club when it comes to player personnel and the decisions that the owner is making about the team, you have in this particular owner now a disaster, a jigsaw puzzle owner. One piece comes out of the jumbled bag, he puts it on the table, and he frantically scurries around for another. And this sacking of Slaven Bilic is a sacking that smacks of desperation. It's a desperate move. Why didn't you get rid of him then in December when this team had lost to Millwall and Swansea? Why didn't you get rid of him then? You were having a streak where you'd won just one of your previous 5 games in that stretch. Why didn't you sack him then? Why did you wait until March to sack him with 11 games left? Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. Whether he is Gino's guy or not, to me, is irrelevant. The team is floundering. They are losing games. They're drawing too many games. They're 4 points off the playoffs. Not the end of the world. And I get it. Football is a results-oriented business. I understand that. Every Watford supporter understands that. As a Watford supporter, I'm very clear on that. Watford supporters, we all know that managers get hired and they get sacked. It's a fact of football life. We all know it. And while I am sorry that Slaven Bilic is now gone, Slaven Bilic is not going to be in any problem. He's not going to have any issue. He'll find the job in another 4 or 5 months. He'll be managing somewhere at the start of next season, I guarantee you. And it's probably going to be in English football, somewhere along the line. Maybe he might get a Premier League job. Who knows? The bottom line here is that you've got a jigsaw puzzle owner who's finding one piece, is putting it there, trying to find another one. Oh, does that fit? Oh no. Oh well, I'll just get another. Oh, the owner needs to have a plan. He needs to invest. And I think that Gino Pozzo is a gambler. Now, the first few years of his ownership here, he gambled well and he won and it paid off in massive amounts for us. Never been happier since the Graham Taylor and Elton John days, as I've been with Gino those first 4, 5 years, 6 years or so, when he was owning this club, really brought this club back to the respectability that with the facilities and everything, you can't thank him enough for those things. But we are in a culture and in a footballing culture of what have you done for us lately? And lately, since the 2018-19 season, yes, there's been one promotion following that. There's not a lot of things that have been done to see where the forward progression of this football club is. We need to see a plan. I have contended from even before the start of this season that this is a Watford team that is rebuilding. This is a Watford Football Club men's first team that is in a rebuilding mode. It's in rebuilding mode. And no one's going to be honest enough to say that at the club. Maybe because the club don't see it that way. Maybe because they whatever. I don't want to start making up decisions and making up what someone's thought pattern is. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much. But the bottom line is these players have also let the fan base down. The players get their cue, however, from the owner. It's not to absolve the players. The players have done this with every manager this season and last season. They've done this for a while at this club because now the gambles that were working in the first 4 or 5 or 6 years, they're no longer working. Those gambles that Gino Pozzo was taking, they're not working now. They're not working. And there's no one at that club, as far as I can guess, who is going to whisper in Gino's ear and tell him, Gino, this is not working anymore. Maybe there is someone that said that. I will never know. But Gino is a gambler and he is not having a plan behind that gamble. Not these last few years, he hasn't. And you can't go to Vegas gambling away money and you don't have a plan behind it for when that money starts to run dry. A poor investment at this club was to give Roy Hodgson, for God's sakes, all that money to manage for 3.5, 4 months. £5 million, £10 million, whatever it was. That was easy money for this man. He didn't care. He knew he had money in the bank. He didn't care about the club, didn't care about the players, really, didn't care about the fan base. And by the way, he's got no obligation to care about the fan base. However, you should at least respect the fan base. There's a big difference between caring about the fans and respecting the fans. And he did neither. He did neither. And that is on the owner. It's the culture that the owner and the way the owner behaves when he's firing managers left and right that filters down through the whole operation at this club. Some of the fan base has not been getting good treatment from the Watford hierarchy in general. You've seen this on Twitter. Some Watford fans taking screenshots of the letters that Watford was sending them, telling them they've got to do these certain things. And these things are not the kinds of things that this club would tell one of their own supporters in the past. The whole situation with the Hive Live video, it's jumping all over. Every week that video is a problem. And fans are paying money to do and to watch these games. Now, look, I'm really thankful that the Watford FC hierarchy did refund us for the Sheffield United game. I'm really appreciative of that. I'm appreciative that the club did not raise the season ticket prices. In fact, they lowered them this season. I thought that was a good move. Those things are good. And of course, look, we all know about the excellent things this club does off the pitch that sets it apart from any sports franchise on the planet. But what is not right at this club is the culture where it comes down to the communication with fans, when it comes down to the way that the player situation is dealt with. Again, I've talked about the Espria situation. That's the most bizarre thing. Not good enough for me, the excuses there that were being made. I don't know what's going on with that. Martins, is he injured? I don't see him being injured. Is he injured? Can someone tell me? Because I don't think he is. Why is he not playing the games? Why is he not in the squad? And you're in the business end of the season trying to get to playoffs. Search me. I've got no idea what's going on at this club. And hardly any of the fans do. And if it's not for Andrew French and Adam Leventhal, to two names I can think of, how the heck will we know what's going on? The communication has bogged down again, and it's not healthy. The atmosphere at the Vic against Preston was as lowly as it could be. Why? Because the players didn't give the Watford supporters any reason to get excited about the team. That was as funereal an atmosphere as you can find. Watford have played poorly all season long. There've only been two performances this season where Watford have left you thinking, wow, they look really, really good. Both of them were under the very manager they've just sacked. The 4-0 win on his debut against Stoke, and then the 4-0 win against that lot up the M1. Both of them in the month of October. And both of them with the man that's just been sacked, Slaven Village. This owner has no plan. He's a gambler with no plan. That's a very dangerous position to be in if you are a football owner. You might gamble, and that's fine, but have a plan behind it. There is clearly no plan. Clearly no plan at all. And that should scare you as a Watford supporter. I don't care who you are, what club you support in general. And I'm talking more generally now. Every owner has some semblance of a plan. Every owner should, and every owner surely has to. What is the long-term plan at Watford Football Club for this men's first team? If someone from outer space came to you, someone from another planet came to you as a Watford supporter and asked you, what is the Watford way? Would you be able to give them an answer? Would you be able to do it in 3 sentences? In 1 sentence, would you be able to respond with an answer to the question of what is the Watford way? What is the Watford way? This has been the Orns observation.